Hey guys, Saion Gupta here, founder of 10x Coder Kids and an official Guinness record holder for the youngest computer programmer in the world. And today we are going to be learning how to build this chat GPT like chatbot, right? So this is an AI chatbot that we are going to build in this tutorial, right? And so we can just like this is a chatbot over here. This is the screen. Here we have the temperature, the top p, the max length, and I'm going to explain all of these attributes later. We can select which model we want to use. So we are going to build this using Llama 2, Streamlit, and replicate, right? So we are going to use Llama 2, Streamlit, and replicate. Let me just give you let me just show you what this chatbot is, and then we are going to understand what we are going to do. Alright, so we can select a model, let's say 7B. We can set the temperature that I'm going to explain in a second. We can select the top P, we can select the max length, right? And we can basically give our inputs. So let's say hi, right? So it's thinking, it's running, right? It will take a bit of time, right? So it takes a little bit of time, right? But like now GPT 3.5, GPT 4 APIs are so common that people have gotten bored with it. Let's be real. So I'm using Llama 2 to build this chatbot. Llama 2 is brought to you by Meta, right? So this LLM model, right? So large language model is brought to you by Meta, right? So basically it's Facebook. It's renamed to Meta. And this Llama 2 will be our LLM that we are going to use, right? So all the thinking and all the responses will come from Llama 2. Then replicate. What is replicate doing? Replicate is basically helping us run this Llama 2 model, right? So to get responses from the Llama 2 model, you also have to run that model. So replicate is making it easy for us to run the Llama 2 model. Obviously, you can omit the replicate part and it will be a little bit difficult for you to run the model without replicate. In fact, if I go to llama2.ai, you are going to see that this is also powered by replicate, right? So replicate makes it very easy to run your basically machine learning models, right? And llama2.ai, the Llama 2's official AI where you can use Llama 2, that also is powered by replicate. So replicate is very powerful. It essentially just makes it very easy for you to run your model, right? And finally we are using Streamlit. So Streamlit will help us create all this UI, right? So you see the text, the sidebar, right? This running animation, stop, deploy, everything will come from Streamlit, right? Very cool. Now if we start coding this ourselves, it will be very difficult. So what we are going to do, we are going to go on this GitHub, right? So I'll provide the link in the description, github.com data professor / llama 2, right? So they have uploaded this the resources for through which we can build this, right? So they have uploaded the resources through which we can build this chatbot, right? So but all of the resources are not there. We have to add some of our stuff also, like our API key, the replicate API key, and we also will understand the main file code, that is streamlit app v2.py. We are going to understand what exactly that file is doing, so that we have a background that we have created this application. We should also have a background of what and how things are happening through our application, right? So how something is happening, how this text is coming, how we are getting a response, right? So we should have a faint idea of that also, right? So without any delay, let's get started. As you can see, we got the response, how may I assist you today? All right, so first of all, our first step in creating this chatbot will be to basically get all of these files in our basically local machine, right? So in our machine, right? So either we can download it from GitHub, or if you're using Git, you can say git clone, right? So you can also clone this. But as I'm not using Git, we are just going to download the zip file, right? So we are just going to download the zip file, and then we are just going to basically open this. We are going to go here, and sorry for all of this that is there. Let's just take this to our miscellaneous projects. All right, so there's already a llama 2 master. Let's just replace that, and we have our llama 2 master over here, right? So this is our project that we have just cloned, right? So this is the project that we downloaded. We basically opened it, unzipped it, and then we moved it to the basically directory that we want our project to be in, right? Now that I have replaced this won't work, right? All right, so now we have our project over here. Now what are we going to do? All right, so first of all, we need our replicate API key, right? So what we have to do personally, the main thing that we have to do is basically in this hidden folder Streamlit. So you are not going to see it, right? It will be hidden as it starts with a dot. This is a hidden folder, but we can see it, right? Because on Mac we have command shift dot, and through that you will be able to see hidden folders and hide them also. Now in this hidden folder we have a config.toml file. Now we have to create a secrets.toml file, right? So what we have to do, we have to create a file that is secrets.toml, right? So what we are going to do, we are just going to use our text editor, or you can use notepad in Windows to create your secrets.toml file, right? Now after opening the like a new file, what you are going to have in the secrets.toml file, it will be your replicate API token, right? So in this you are going to save your replicate API token. So you're going to say replicate API token is equals to whatever API token you have. Now you have to put that in quotes. And what API token, how can we get our API token? So first go on to replicate.com, right? So in replicate.com you're going to basically log in, and all after logging in on your dashboard you're going to go to use an API token to run models, right? Over here you are going to see your API token. Let's copy this and paste this over here. Now you can see the API token, but I'm going to just delete this token afterwards and create a new token, right? So it will be a waste of time if you try to copy it. No worries about that. Now once we have like created a variable type like replicate API token, right, and we have set its value to our replicate token. Now what we are going to do, we are going to save this file, right? So we are going to save it in llama 2 master. We are going to say it is secrets.toml, because the main file streamlit app v2.py that we are going to run afterwards, it requires this secrets.toml, right? So we are just going to save it. Once this is saved, you can see in this Mac it's saved as secrets.toml.rtf. so we are just going to resolve that in a second. So over here we have this secrets.toml.rtf. we are just going to say secrets.toml, right? And we are going to say use.toml, right? After this, now this all seems very good. We just put it into .streamlit, right, as this needs to be placed in the hidden folder Streamlit. Now all seems very good, but when we open secrets.toml, then we see there's a lot of junk in it. So what we are going to do, we're just going to remove the junk that is over here, right? Remove whatever was here like this also, and we are going to remove the end also, this, right? So this is now what we wanted in secrets.toml, right? So now we have everything that we need in secrets.toml, that is our replicate API token equals to our token. We're going to save this, and then we are going to quit VS Code. Alright, so next what we are going to do, we are going to go to terminal, right? And then we are going to go in our project, and then what we are going to go, we are going to create a new virtual environment. So you're going to say python mvenvenv. So we are going to create a new virtual environment. For me, Python doesn't work, it's Python 3, right? So basically this created a virtual environment. Now we are going to enter that virtual environment, right, using source env bin activate, and then what we are going to do, we have a requirements.txt in this, right? Somewhere over here, we have a oh yeah, why did I go in environment? It's over here. We have this requirements.txt that has all the names of the modules that we need. So what we are going to do, we are just going to say pip install our requirements.txt. So this will install all the modules that we need for this project, right? And it has started installing, and it is now doing its work, right? Pretty cool, right? So what have we done? We have installed, we have created a virtual environment, we have installed all our dependencies, right? And in Streamlit we added our replicate API token in secrets.toml, right? Next we just have to run the application, but before that, what we are going to do, we are going to go into Streamlit app v2.py, and we are going to understand its code. All right, so we are just going to understand it very briefly, right? So I won't take a lot of your time. So we are importing Streamlit as st, we are importing replicate, and we are importing os, right? You're going to see why. This line over here, that this is setting up page title, so I switched it off. So let's just run our application first, so that you know what each line is doing. So using Streamlit run Streamlit app v2.py, we are essentially running our application, and this will run on localhost 8501. All right, so this has basically started it has started running the application. If we go on localhost 8501, it hasn't run the application just yet, so it's about to do so. All right, it has. Now this is our application. Before testing it out that everything works fine and our replicate API token was actually cool and all good, we are going to actually just understand the code. So this page title is this title that we are seeing over here, this over here on the tab, right? This title, right? Next, this is our credentials area. This is basically checking if the application got the replicate credentials, right? So with st.sidebar, right? So with sidebar, it's first setting the title over there in the sidebar. So this title is coming from this statement, right? It's checking if it finds this variable replicate API token in st.secrets. st.secrets is basically bringing our secrets file, secrets.toml file, and it's checking if it finds the variable replicate API token. If it does, then it shows that there's a success, right? There's success, and basically API key already provided, and then it shows the tick arrow. So this we are getting through this statement, as we had already provided our API key. Next, we are saying basically we are creating a variable replicate API and saving our token that was our API key, right? So we are saving our API key that was this. I'm going to show you this. Oh my god, just a second. All right, this API key that we got from here, that it is saving in the variable replicate API. If it does not find this variable, it is basically asking for input that the user enters the API token, right? If the token does not start with r8 underscore, so every replicate token needs to start with r8 underscore. If the token entered by the user does not start with R8 underscore and its length is not 40, then then it will give a warning that please enter your credentials. But if it passes the checks, if it does start with R8 underscore and its length is 40, then it is going to show that proceed to entering your prompt message, right? So it is going to show proceed to entering your prompt message. Unfortunately, we cannot see that as the user has already we have already provided the API token. One way we can test this though is by not adding this variable. For example, let's say this is a fake token, right? And we are just going to copy this token because this is our only token, and we are just going to paste it over there when it asks for it. Now when we run the application, now let's run the application. It's giving us please enter your credentials, right? Once we enter our credential and we press enter, voila, it worked, right? So we can either ask for the token from the user, or we can already provide our token, right? All right, Steve, anyway. All right, next okay, we are here. So we are adding a subheader, models and parameters. St is basically our Streamlit. So we are saying Streamlit.subheader, models and parameters. This is over here, right? Selected model, we are saying choose a model, and we are giving the option of selecting Llama 2 7B, 13B and 70B. So these are the options for selecting the model. If the user selects Llama 2 7B, then this is, you can say, a type of an ID for the model. So this is a type of ID for the model that we are saving in LLM, right? So for Llama 2 7B, this is the ID of the model. For Llama 2 13B, this is the ID of the model. And for Llama 2 70B, this is the ID of the model, right? So each model has its separate ID, right? So we are taking it like these are the IDs for the model, right? IDs representing the model, right? So LLM is equals to this ID if it's Llama 2B Llama 2 7B is selected. If Llama 2 13B is selected, then this ID is set to LLM, and if Llama 2 70B is selected, then this ID is set to LLM. All right, so this, we are going to use this LLM variable later on. Next, we have the three variables: temperature, top P, and max length, right? Max length. So max length, basically max length is how much characters the response will be of maximum how many characters, right? Next, what we need to know is temperature and top P. Now temperature is that it specifies how vague the answer should be, like how creative the answer should be, how out of the box or how creative the answer should be, how let me just put it this way: when temperature is high, then there's a very creative answer you get, right? So you get a very creative answer that has no facts in it, no universal truths in it, but it's a very creative answer. So you can increase the temperature when you want to write essays or you want to write paragraphs on creative topics, right? So there, when you increase the temperature, so you'll get a very creative response. As you decrease the temperature, you will get the response that is factual, that is actually true, that is actually happening, or that is actually there, right? So you will get a true response, not a made up response. But as you increase the temperature, it will be more and more made up. Like ChatGPT responses, a lot of them are made up, right? They make literally no sense. ChatGPT sometimes is like, it has to respond, it's like it has to respond, it has no other option, so it just makes up what it likes, right? So next we have top p that we can set. So top p, what this is, that how many different types of words it should use. Like for example, when we increase the top p, we are saying use many types of different words, like words that are creative, right? Words that are different, words that people have not listened to, right? So when you decrease the top p, it will use normal English like hi, hello, bye, goodbye, great to meet you, and normal English, right? Normal type of English. But when you increase, you get different, very high type of English, and very mixed type of English with different types of words that you may or may not have heard, right? So this is basically the complexity of the language you are setting. You can put it in that way. The less it is, the more simpler the responses. The more this is, the more advanced and more pleasing response it is, right? So it's pleasing to hear, it's a better response, right? And next we have the max length, right? So these were the three variables. I hope you got a little bit idea about temperature, top p, and max length. And then we have ht.markdown. We are saying learn how to build this app, right? So basically this we are getting through this statement, right? And then we are getting basically what we are doing, we are just creating an environment variable replicate API token, and we are setting it to our API token that was saved in replicate API variable, that is over here, right? So we were saving our token in the replicate API variable, right? So that we are setting over here to the environment variable replicate API token. Now here it's a bit advanced, right? So we're going to go quickly through this and have basic idea of it. So over here, what we are checking, if message is not in session state.keys, then what's it saying? It's let's just understand what this code is doing. This block of code is saying that if there is no statement over here, no one has messaged, neither I have messaged anything, neither I got any response from the assistant till now, then if it finds this area is empty, then it will just add this message, how may I assist you today, right? So this is like adding this message by itself, how may I assist you today, if there is no message present over here in this area, right? Next we have this over here for messaging. It's reading all the messages, right? And it's basically, you have two things. You have, for every message you have your role and you have content. Content is what this message contains. Role is from who did you get this message. Like this yellow box image is showing that I got this message from the assistant, that is the AI. Now if I message something, hi, this girl slash fruit shows that this message is sent by the user of this AI, right? So there are two people, two roles, user and assistant, right? So it's basically this is what this is doing, is this is displaying or clearing chat messages, right? So this is majorly used to, this code is used to display or clear chat messages. So when I write something, it will display or clear chat messages. And you see what type of response this is giving over here when I increase the temperature so much. Like, is this making sense? These are just characters over here, right? So this much temperature is not suggested. That's why it was like set to 0.10, and top p also like little less. So let's just say hi once again. Let's just clear the chat and then let's say hi. All right. So over here, basically this code block is used to display or clear chat messages. This clear chat history method is for all right, let's just leave that. Okay, let's just leave that. This clear chat history method is what this is doing, is just the method for this button. So when this is clicked, it will clear the chat history, right? Next we have this function that is for generating llama 2 response. So this is a main function. This will generate a llama 2 response. And one interesting thing that this AI is doing in the background is that it is adding this string before our prompt. So whatever prompt we give, like something hi or something, it will add this string before that prompt. This string is saying that you are a helpful assistant. So it's telling the AI that you are an assistant. So this is telling the AI what it is part of prompt engineering. So when you learn prompt engineering, you know that by telling the AI what role it is playing, it really impacts the answer that you get from it, right? So we are basically telling it at first that you are a helpful assistant. So we are informing him, the AI, that it's an assistant, right? So we are also saying that you do not respond as user. So you do not respond as us, right? So you cannot respond as us, or you cannot pretend to be us. So we are telling this to the AI that you do not respond as us and you do not pretend to be us. You only respond once as assistant. So you'll give one response to one question and as assistant, right? All right. Then this was just some instruction for the AI that we will basically append to this string whatever prompt we give. And then what we are doing, we are saying for dict message in this messages, right? So basically it's finding the message, right? It's taking each message. It's saying if the message role is user, so if that message is sent by user, then we are saying string dialog plus equals to user. Yeah, right? So we are adding to the string dialog that user plus dict message, that whatever content we gave, and basically new line, right? So what is happening? Our string dialog is this right now. Then we are adding that this is given by the user. So we are saying this. Then we are saying that user is giving some prompt, right? So this is given by user, right? And so this is very advanced, guys. So let's just see what we are getting. First we are getting this string, and then when I say hi, what is being given is user says and then hi. So this is the string that is going to the model, that you are a helpful assistant. You do not respond as user or pretend to be user. You only respond once as assistant, and then its user is saying hi, right? And then it will respond as assistant, right? So very cool. So we are appending this part and this part also, right, ourselves, to get the best possible outcome from the AI, right? And else if the user has not given the message, the assistant has, so when we are looping, we get the message of the assistant. Then what we are adding to the string dialog, we are adding to it assistant, right? So that's why it was important to tell this AI why this information, that you are a helpful assistant. You do not respond as user or pretend to be user. You only respond once as assistant, right? That's why it was important to tell the AI what it is. It's an assistant. Next we have our output variable, and now we are using replicate. So using the replicate library, we are calling its run method. We are passing the LLM variable. Basically it had the model that we wanted to use of llama 2, right? So that we are passing it to replicate.run, so it will run the model, right? What prompt will it get? It will get the prompt that our string dialog that we created, that was for example this, right? Then a prompt input, the input that we are getting from the user, the current input. So over here, assistant hi, this is from like this. Then the prompt input that we give over here, right, in the text box, that input is being added over here, and then an assistant response will come. So basically what is happening, oh, this is so cool, this is so cool. So what is happening, our string dialogue is the full chat. A string dialogue is the full chat that we have done. So it's, how may I assist you, then we say hi, right? So our string dialogue, let's see what our string dialogue will be for this, like, right? So this is the situation. Let's see what will be our string dialogue. So a string dialogue will be that you are a helpful assistant, this, right? Then user says, no, the assistant says, how may I assist you today, right? So how may I assist you today, right? Then two new lines are added, so 1 2, right? So it should be the same comment. So let's just make this a multi-line comment, right? And then after the two new lines, okay, let's go over here. Next we get from user, it's hi, right? Next from assistant we get hello, how may I assist you today? Is there something you need help with or a question you have, right? Next what we have good morning by the user, right? And finally by assistant we are waiting for the response. So assistant area is blank, so this is telling the AI now you have to give a response as assistant. So we are basically telling the AI to complete the chat, right? So we are giving it the AI situation to complete the chat, right? Very, very, very cool, guys. Very, very cool. All right, so this is the input that is going, then the temperature is also going, the top p is going, the max length is going, and then there's a repetition penalty also, right? So this is no need to worry about repetition penalty. Next we are, what we are doing, we are just returning the output that we get, right? So output we'll get from the, basically from the AI that we are returning, right? And basically what we are doing over here, this is our user provided prompt, right? So basically this is a prompt that is being written over here. So this hi is being written over here by this code, right? And over here this code is generating a new response if last message is not from assistant. So if the last message was ours, like good morning, then this code will generate a response for us, right? So this code will generate a response for us. All right, very, very, very cool, right? So I don't know what is happening to the AI. Maybe we just commented all of this, so that's why it's working funny. Maybe this is part of the string dialogue of what is happening, I don't know. But AI is going AI is going somewhat, I don't know what AI is doing. All right, so basically this code is generating a new response if the last message is not from assistant. If the last message is from us, then this code will generate a response from the assistant. So it is checking that if the last message is not from the assistant, it will chat message from the assistant and it will show thinking, right? So you see the thinking that we are getting from this, from the spinner, right? Then we are saying response equal to generate llama 2 response, and then we are giving it the prompt input. So we are calling this function that is over here. Next we are saying placeholder equals to st.empty, right? So basically we are okay, so let's see what's happening. Then full response equals to empty string. Then we are saying for item in response, so whatever we get in response, we are adding that item to full response, right? And then we are saying placeholder dot mark down full response, right? So basically this is the the execution of the response that we are getting, right? Over here with this function was just returning the response. Now to show this, response, all of this code is being used, right? And then basically in the end we are just showing the message. This is just setting it up maybe, and this is like just showing the response in the end, right? So let's just not go into the technicalities a lot right? We basically had to understand the core concept was what was happening, and we got to know that many things actually, right? So we got to know how this prompt is being given to the AI. It's not just what we write. This is not just given to the AI. Hi is not just given to the AI. Actually, we are appending strings ourselves. We are giving a prompt to we are giving this prompt to the AI like it's a conversation between a user and an assistant. We are saying that I'm the user, you are the assistant in this room, and we are having a conversation. You have to continue the conversation. So I say good morning, you continue your conversation. This is what we are telling the AI to do. So we are not just saying, when we are saying hi, we are just not expecting a hi back. We are actually saying the AI to continue the conversation, right? So it's like pretty cool. The technique, if we hadn't seen the code, we would not have known what was happening in the background, but now we do. So thank you guys, I hope you like the video. Do share, do customize this, do whatever you want to do with this AI. I'll provide this link in the description box below, and create this yourself. It's very fun. And thank you guys, I hope you like the video. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. Thank you guys, bye, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching my videos.